in the front of the chicken wing dip.
The chicken wing dip is the cue that we are live, I believe. Yep, we are live. Oops, the name of the stream says U.S. Open recap. Bryson wins, Rory chokes.
All good.
That was a pickoff, and the cover is safe. The cover is safe.
We're back, boys. We're back.
We are back. We are back. Just
okay. Good pick. Yeah. All right. Nice.
Everybody on a completely different time schedule here. CFP.
My TV was only about 37 seconds behind.
Quarterfinals. All right, there we go. Whoops, I'm not joined by Deep Dish in this.
Oh, is Pinecone getting in?
No, the last time I did a live, I was joined by Deep Dish. I'm joined by Daddy and Dota to discuss Penn State's CFP win. There we go. All right, now we've got everything saved. Boys, we've been live, but we're here. What do we got to say? What do we got to say about this event that we lived through here tonight? Dakota, why don't you lead us off? Dakota, first time on the pod. What do you got to say about the Penn State performance tonight, buddy?
Oh, sorry as my dogs jump on me, but yeah, thanks for having me on. A little heated. Hi, Timber. It was just pathetic, and I think we're going to see a lot of it here in a week or so. But yeah, just game management again. I can't get over the coaching. It seems like every year it's the same shit, and this is no different.
Yeah. No, that's nail on the head. Put it in the coffin, throw it in the ground. I may have sent a strongly worded email to the Penn State athletic director mid-game today. It was fourth quarter after the 3rd and 1 call to throw the ball up 10. 3rd and 1. Let's roll it out and throw it with an immobile quarterback.
There were so many calls in this game that they were running it and gained like 5 to 6 yards every time.
What did they end up with? What was their yards per carry at the end of the game? It had to have been like 8 or so.
I mean, Quaterfinals Allen rushed for 134 yards on 17 carries. Singleton.
And how many yards did they pick up at the end of the game when they knew they were going to run the ball? And they still were gashing them. It's like you could have done that the entire game.
So Singleton got 12 carries for 87 yards, which was a 7.2 average. And Quaterfinals Allen, 17 carries for $134 for an 7.9 average. And that was the entirety of the game. That was what was happening? And they just would refuse to run the fucking football. It was 3rd and 1. They're like, let's just pass it.
I don't get it. Even there at the end of the game where Aller decides to finally make a read off the end and keep it. It's like it's 2nd and 3 with like 4 minutes left in the game or whatever. What? Just hand the ball to your running back, dude. If he doesn't end up getting it on this play, you give it to him again. Instead, he tries pulling it like, what are you doing? And then you lose 5 yards, and it's 3rd and 8. And it's like, we luckily picked up the first down. It's like those things right there, you just can't do. Like, I don't get it.
It was, and then there was at what point in the game was the fake, the handoff, like the
throwback to Warren,
the throwback, and then they were trying to go to Warren. Like Warren's running under center, he's throwing it back to Aller. Like that's what in like the second quarter. It's like we're just pummeling them, and it's like we're in the shadow of our own goal line. Just dominate the ball a little bit. Get it away from your goal line. And we're like, oh, no, we're going to run a trick play. And it's like, what are we doing?
I think Franklin was, excuse my language, fucking shell-shocked that he actually came out and his team started fast and he was up 2 touchdowns, right? Oh. I think it blew his world that he had a 2-touchdown lead in the first quarter of a football game.
It may have.
That could have been because he was playing calls like he was down.
Right? And then all of a sudden, it's like we create a turnover, get a fumble. Let's run read option with our, again, immobile quarterback. Just hand the ball off. You did it for 2 straight drives and scored 14 points.
Like Dakota said, in the hurry up that time.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
It's like you just got the ball back after the turnover. Just like, let's just pound the rock like we've been doing for the first time. We've just scored 14 points.
Wild.
It was like they've never been in that situation. He thought that scoring another 7 points immediately was like the answer. Like if you could have like wrote a script, but it's like that's wrong. The answer would have been to be up 14-0, get a big turnover, and then just pound the rock. Take the first quarter would have been done. So that means you would have had the ball going into the second quarter. Your time possession would have been 1,000,000, and you still would have had the rock. And like, okay, even if you just get 3 there, it's 17-0. You're into the second quarter, but instead it was just I didn't get it at all.
Yeah,
you run hurry up offense and you end up fumbling.
He played the game like he was the underdog. Like if you're the underdog in that situation, you're like, we got to go score.
Yeah,
like we got to keep stacking it because the other team's coming. But like you're the favorite. Like you're the guys in charge. Like just dominate the ball, like you were saying. And just pound them because every time you run the ball, you're picking up like 4 yards minimum. Just do that 3 times, and then it's a first down.
So we didn't.
I'll be anxious to see how.
The first drive of the game for Boise State, they're a 12-point dog. No one thinks they're going to win. You get it 4th and 2 at the 25-yard line, 30-yard line.
Yeah, it was something like that.
It wasn't deep.
You try to kick it. And shout out their kicker for missing 60 left.
Friend of the program, Jeff Slanovic, was incensed that they decided to do that.
That was one of the biggest coaching mistakes of the season.
He was absolutely lit up that they tried to do that. And my man had his faith in the Lord, but it did not translate to those guys picking up that field goal. That one wasn't even close.
No. Nope.
The announcers were like, "Oh, I think it might have been blocked." No, it wasn't touched.
It was a full wedge.
They needed the shoe.
They definitely need the shoe, but yeah, I don't know what the coaching decisions right there. Like, how do you? I don't know. I just don't know how you get a bunch of guys in a group chat that immediately jump on that, and these guys are paid how much money, and like in that position, and you don't like. What's your actual thought there? If you're Boise State's head coach,
you got to be scared, right? You're like, we'll just put points on the board.
Yeah, but you're supposedly had this running back in the backfield that's like unstoppable. Like, maybe use him.
Well, that's the
you
other
got to
thing.
make.
You got the best running back in the country, allegedly. Who Penn State pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah, they did, keeping him under 125 yards or whatever.
He had 32 carries for maybe
he got over 100 yards. He got 104 yards, but it was on 30 carries. So it's like,
yeah.
I mean, you live with that.
Bum.
You're telling me 4th and 2, it's opening drive, and you don't really know that Penn State's going to stuff him all game. You don't have a play that you're going to like get him the ball. Like that one, it was the first quarter. He kept getting stuffed, and all of a sudden they dumped one out to him, and he was in open space, and it was like, oh no, if they do this, like we're in trouble. Like this goes around everything we got going for us right now. And then they never did it again. I never saw them dump one down to him in the flat.
I will say it was some of the worst coaching I've seen on both sides of the football.
Yeah,
from both teams. Yeah, thank God Boise State matched it with as bad a coaching as James Franklin did. Because, I mean, running trick plays in just the shadow of your own end zone, they just refuse to run the football. I mean, 3rd and 21, they give up 25 to Ashton Genty on the ground at one point and late in the game.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, absolutely. Hit me.
I didn't go back to watch it. What was Penn State's coverage? did they really run man coverage 3rd and 21? Because if
Seemed
you're
like
running
it
the
was
zone,
man.
someone's got to be there. What happened?
It seemed like it was man.
It
If it
looked
was
like
zone
man.
coverage, that's pathetic.
So, follow up, how do you call man coverage 3rd and 21? Isn't that that's Wikipedia, like, zone coverage?
I'll die on
Like,
this hill.
Wikipedia, when to run zone. It's like, 3rd and long.
I have hated this hire at defensive coordinator with Tom Allen since it was announced last winter.
I can vouch for that. I've got
Like-
text from you about both coordinators.
Like, I thought for sure we would get someone better. When you're the head coach at Indiana University, you can't have high expectations. Now you can. Now you're a dog and a powerhouse. But for the last 15 years, you get fired from Indiana, and Franklin says, well, let's bring in the defensive just guru out of Indiana. Bowling Green lights us up for
Easy on the
$30.
dog and a powerhouse thing, too. I've yet to kind of verify that.
We have two things we have to talk about next.
They didn't
First
lose
of
to
all,
Michigan.
Yeah, it's
Nick,
true.
your friend Dylan Bates says James Franklin is a top CFP coach.
Oh, Hog's in the chat.
Hog is in the chat.
Oh, boy.
We're not going to discuss the other collusion member in the chat. We won't talk about him.
No.
But we can talk about Indiana while that comes up here. Any thoughts on Indiana? We can also talk about the SEC in this chat right now, too, if you guys want. Your guys' thoughts on both of those things.
I felt for the Indiana thing, whatever hype.
I will stand right now and say I never fell for it. I was anti-Kurt Signetti. I don't know why. I had no reason.
Because you listened to his interviews, that's why.
I did. And I was like, I'm not into this dude. Like, I just can't take this guy seriously. Like, he's just an asshole. And that's like all I got out of it.
He does love to run his mouth.
Yeah.
I thought they were actually good, though, for a minute. So, like, when he was winning all these places, it was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And if he does come in here and, like, turn this program around, like, that's awesome. And he did do that. I'm not saying he didn't do that, but they got pretty hyped up. And Mr. Pat McAfee blew it out of proportion. And that was kind of why I hopped on the hype train, too. Like, I was all about it. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. These guys suck.
Notre Dame did kick the shit out of them.
Dude, they weren't good. They just weren't. I honestly lost it. I was kind of still on board until I saw the Signetti interview where it said that he didn't want to go or he would never go silent count again. I'm like, wait. That just tells me right there you can't coach in an atmosphere that you're about to play in. Like, instantly I was like, oh no, you're done. And I don't know if that meant anything or not. Had an effect, but to me it was like you're going to get outcoached a lot until you learn some more things with that comment. If that's the comment you took out of that game, like from Ohio State, is that you got beat because you can't go on a silent count. It's like, that's not the only thing you're going to have to overcome. Right there, I was like, okay, I'm out.
Daddy, your thoughts on the SEC performance today? The two teams we heard were supposed to be in the playoffs.
It was
Alabama and South Carolina.
It's a phenomenal day for Big Ten football. Alabama, who, God, everybody on ESPN and the world thinks should be in the playoff, plays the 7th best team in the Big Ten this year.
7th, maybe.
It's something like that. Like, they were like 7th or 8th in the conference, and they get beat down by them while Michigan sits 4 starters plus on defense, whatever it was, and Michigan pummels them. I hate Michigan. Pull for them today. They lose to Michigan. They get boat raced by a 6-6 Oklahoma team that lost to Navy. Shout out Navy. And Vanderbilt. And then South Carolina, who everyone's, well, they should be in too.
The hottest team in college football, I've heard.
Gets beat by Illinois, who everyone said on Penn State's schedule, well, it's not a good win. It's not a good win. It's Illinois.
That's the best part about it is that everyone was like, oh, Penn State doesn't have a fucking good win.
Mm-hmm.
And that Penn State's not good win went out and kicked they didn't kick the shit out, but they beat fucking South Carolina, the so-called hottest team in college football. And I know the bowl games, like, there's all the excuses in the world. Like, oh, no one wants to be there. There's the opt-outs. They're not really trying. But, like, hey, man, like, you got to put up or shut up at some point. And, like, that was the moment. And these teams didn't do it. And it was fucking awesome to see fucking Illinois and Michigan, just middle of the pack, Big Ten teams, beat these SEC teams that were supposed to be the big dogs that should have been in instead of SMU and Indiana, and they can't even win in these bullshit bowl games because they just can't get it together for fucking 60 minutes to go out there and beat these inferior opponents. It was great. It was fucking awesome.
It was awesome. Well, then you got Lane Kiffin. I'm a big Lane Kiffin fan. I think he's hysterical. But he's talking all this shit 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago or whatever during the first round of the playoffs, cheering for all these – they're talking shit on all these teams that shouldn't have been in, and then you get Bama beat today, South Carolina beat today, Miami beat in their bowl game. Granted, Cam Ward didn't really play. And now, hopefully, Duke goes out and beats Ole Miss. Oh,
Duke is known to cover. Known to cover. Duke is a team that covers in college football. I just want to point that out.
Sounds like you're taking them.
You're goddamn right I am. You always take Duke to cover. What's the line on that?
Somewhere like 18, something like that.
18? Give me 18 points, please.
Wally's loving that. He might even sprinkle on the
I might even sprinkle the fucking money line there. January 2nd? There's nothing going on. I'm all over that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Duke 17.5 via FanDuel. Plus 660 on the money line. I'm all over that. Oh, shit. Oh, boys. Do we have anything else? You guys, let's I don't want to keep this going too long as a kind of post-wrap here. Let's just give a closing statement. Daddy, you start us here. We're going to do kind of a closing wrap here. Daddy, give us that.
Table. So, I don't know. Good win for Penn State. Not a great win. You beat a okay Boise State team. You looked horrible doing it. Cannot wait for Notre Dame, Georgia tomorrow night to find out who they get to play. Tomorrow's like, I told Maddie, my wife, I said, I'm sitting on the couch from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. Don't fucking bother me, basically. Catch you on Thursday. But we've got it decided that if somehow Notre Dame pulls off the upset against Georgia, we'll see you guys in Miami for the playoff semifinal.
Hey-o.
Mm-hmm. But only if Notre Dame wins.
Dota, hit me with your thoughts.
Yeah, kind of like Nick said, good win. But I wanted to see the coaching side of it more so than the player side. I feel like Penn State loses a lot of games on the coaching side, not the player side. So that was what I was really looking for today, and I just did not see it. So I don't know. Good win. Glad to see that they made it to the top four. They had this easy walk, which I'm just glad they actually, won both games. It was one thing to get the easy walk, but, at least they performed and got to the Final Four. So, yeah, I guess we'll see from here. But, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm going to echo a lot of what you guys just said. They got the easy route. They took care of business. They won those games. Tonight, I think, as hard as it is to imagine with the way Boise State coached that game, they still got outcoached, which is not ideal. Like, that was an easy game to win and an easy game to coach. Like, just run the fucking football. That was the answer. So Penn State does what they're supposed to. And I said, if Penn State lost either of these games, the Fire Franklin chant was going to be led by me.
Loud.
And it was going to be loud, and it was going to be on top of the world. But, hey, we got through it. We've done what we're supposed to. We're going to get to the semifinals. which is a wild thought. But there's also like a game that's going to be against a Notre Dame team that's either okay or a Georgia team that doesn't have their starting quarterback. Like the next game is winnable too. Like very winnable.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I was thinking about it tonight. Like Penn State actually has a chance to play for the national championship.
Yes.
This year, and I didn't think that. I didn't think that a few weeks ago. And like tonight I sat here and was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and we're going to have to watch James Franklin somehow fucking just absolutely fucking boot it away in the worst possible imaginable. Dude, if you thought
tonight was bad,
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, if we thought tonight was bad, like I can't like wrap my mind around what's gonna happen on fucking Thursday, January 9th or whatever the fucking date of the thing is. Like, oh, it's just gonna be so bad. It's gonna be so
like
bad the way we lose.
Another Ohio State game.
It sure is. And the only
like
thing worse,
type of thing, like we've already been freaking hit with that once this year.
Yeah. And you know what the only problem is? The only worst possible option is, Dakota, is that they're going to win that game, and Ohio State's going to be sitting there in the national championship game.
No.
And James Franklin is going to fucking blow the national championship game to Ohio State.
Twice in 1 year.
Twice in 1 year. We don't have to do it once. We have to do it twice.
Get your hopes up and just smash them.
Before we wrap this up, Wally and Dakota, because this will be big for my, gambling addiction tomorrow. Give me your 3 winners for tomorrow's games.
3 winners?
3 winners. Just 3 teams. Doesn't have to cover. Just who's going to win.
You go first, Dakota.
I got Oregon winning that one.
Oregon beats Ohio State. Okay.
I have Ohio State in that game.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I just don't.
I have Texas. I have Texas. I have Texas, Ohio State, and then I have Notre Dame.
Yeah, I got Texas, Oregon, Notre Dame.
I like it.
Wow, we both got Notre Dame, huh?
Notre Dame
for
looked
Georgia
good.
with that backup.
I know they played Indiana, but
that's my problem. Is like is Notre Dame look good because they played Indiana?
Yeah. I don't know their strength of schedule either. Like I don't follow them at all, so I don't know. That could be a very bad pick. I don't know. I'm a little biased too.
Bates says Ole Walls House should pick subscribers to take next PSU CFP game. All expenses paid. Someone check on Bates. I don't think he's okay.
Hog's had a few cocktails tonight.
Hog has been deep. Okay. Any final thoughts tonight, boys? Or I think we've reached the point of no return here. So, any final thoughts?
I've got none. I have absolutely none. Happy New Year, gentlemen. Look forward.
Dota, first time on the pod. Any final thoughts?
No. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I guess let's just enjoy this victory and pray that between now and when is it? January 9th, they go back at it.
Yeah, I think January 9th is when they play again. So
let's just hope that the coaches watch more film than the players.
Oof.
Learn something.
No promises. All right, gentlemen. We'll see you again next week. Post as this will come out, and this pod will come out on the 7th.
6 days.
A couple days before the semifinal game. So hopefully we're prepping for a semifinal win. And until then, peace.
See you, boys.
Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate you boys coming on tonight. That was fun.
Love it.
You bet,
Anytime.
man.
Happy New Year.